Hey, everybody. I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International. If you're currently thinking about starting, or actively building a resume writing or career coaching business, I am so glad you've joined me and the career coach Kitty behind me. In this show, we share tools, strategy, and mindset tips that lead to your ultimate success without the stress. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're talking about how to grow your resume writing business with the power of a 2025 TORI Award. And we're currently streaming on CDI's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and LinkedIn page. But listen, skip all the hassle. I'm not going to ask you to give permissions. Just when you comment in the chat, please tell me your name so that I know who I'm talking to. Hopefully, your names will show up and I won't just see Facebook user or YouTube user, so that I know who I'm talking to. And if you don't know me yet, my goal is to become your not so secret superpower. At Career Directors International, we provide everything you need to love and excel at what you do so you can make a difference while earning an exceptional living as a career industry professional. All right, so we are talking about, profiting as a resume writer through the TORI Awards, but I decided not to go whole hog with the entire discussion I was going to have. I looked back, and when we did this last year, it was literally over 90 minutes. And I thought, nobody has time for that today. So I'm going to break this down into several segments. So today I'm just going to be talking about the 7 ways that you as a resume writer can win just by entering the TORI Award competition. But before we get into that, let me just ask, please let me know who you are in the chat. Again, include your name just in case it's not telling me. Second, be sure to ask questions or participate with me as we go in the chat. I will be monitoring it. And third, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, depending on what platform you're on, so you don't miss when I go live. All right. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the 7 ways that you can win just by entering. And let me get that off the screen and see if we have anything in the chat. Okay, nothing yet, but that's good. All right, we've got a lot to cover. All right, before I get into how you can win just by entering, I want to talk a little bit about what the TORI Awards are if you're not familiar with them. So, 25 years ago, this organization was born. It was originally the Professional Resume Writing and Research Association, and they founded the TORI Awards, something that I really built my career on. Awards from PARW, an award from PARW, and multiple awards from PRWRA. Anyway, 25 years ago, the competition has been consistently running for 25 years without breaks, making it the single longest running and most prestigious resume writing competition worldwide. It is also the most popular page on CDI's website. And I say that because literally we have resume writers who tell us that this is how they get found. Winning each year is the thing that allows them to stand out. So in the competition every year, we have 10 categories. They are classic design and high design. And you know them, you can tell them apart because the classic design ones actually say classic, and the high design ones don't say anything. But when you go and look at the winners, you will see a distinctive difference. And this is really why we introduced classic design about 5 years ago, because the TORIs were becoming really a networking high design. Now that's ATS friendly, thanks to wonderful board member Marie Plett and longtime TORI and ROAR winner. She's provided a lot of trainings for our members that our members can access for free, as well as an amazing tutorial that we do have for sale for, I think it's just $299 to learn all her tips and tricks about not only creating graphically designed resumes, but making them ATS friendly. Anyway, you have your choice between the 2 types of categories to pick from. And our categories for 2025, it is the first time we have introduced a change in categories in probably 5 or more years. Just one change, but up this year is difficult transitions, classic difficult transitions, high tech, sales, classic I'm sorry. See, I was going to say classic high tech because that's always what's there. But this time we got rid of classic high tech and we're introducing classic sales. Because honestly, I can't think of a better challenge for resume writers than to take these metrics driven accomplishments of salespeople and show how well we can sell them without charts and graphs and other fancy design elements. All right. So, sales, classic sales, no classic high tech, healthcare, executive, new graduate, and classic new graduate. All right, let me talk about the ROI of entering. And again, entering, because while the cherry on top is truly being nominated or winning, there are still a lot of tremendous benefits, even if you don't make that list. So let me share the 7 ways with you now. And if you're just coming in and joining me, please jump in the chat. Give me your name, where you're at. And again, I don't ask people to give permission, so I can see their name. So please write it in the chat when you do. All right, not the second, the first of 7 ways you can win by entering is literally you win. And overnight, we've heard our members, and I've experienced this myself, you can become a business success. The TORIs they have been found not just by me, but by so many other resume writers around the world to be the number one lowest cost yet highest ROI way to grow your business, seemingly overnight. I've got a number of testimonials from winners and nominees. I'll show you a few today that they exclaim about how their businesses literally changed overnight, doubling and even tripling, and allowing them to command higher rates and work with ideal clients. As I said, the TORI Winners page is our most popular, most visited page on our website for both job seekers and resume writers. It gets a lot of traction. We do have multi-TORI award winners who have not even had to maintain sales pages and who are commanding high 4 figures for resumes alone based on multiple TORI wins. And honestly, we have some who tell us with 1 TORI win. All right, people, they understand the value of awards, right? And it helps you stand out against I think the last time I checked, there was like 6 million people calling themselves professional resume writers on LinkedIn alone. Go out on the internet and it's a huge glut, but I know most of us get our business from LinkedIn. So that's a huge pool of people. And if you think, well, I've got the XYZ certification, how many thousands of people have that too? And how is that really going to differentiate you? But awards, they really speak. Also, there's lots of opportunity in the TORIs because there are 10 categories. That gives you 50 chances to be nominated because we nominate 5 resumes in each category, 10 categories. And then there are 30 chances to win because we just don't name a first place. We name a first, second, and third. And all of those get a lot of exposure. We announce our nominees and put them on our website in perpetuity. We give our nominees logos to put on their websites and social media and whatever else they want to do with them. Our winners not only get the distinctive logos for the category year and first, second, third place, but they also get their resume pretty much in perpetuity on the CDI TORI winners page, along with a link to their CDI bio. What is happening to my voice? So it is fabulous publicity. And also strangely, I say this because I've been in this industry for 30 years and I don't understand how many people don't take advantage of opportunities like this. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, you're a resume writer, which means you need to be the very best at what you can do to help your job seekers to transition successfully, to justify what you're charging them for. So you should be at the top of your game, which means you should be able to win an award and earn a top certification. I won my first resume writing award from PARW at my first conference. And the brain is fuzzy after 30 years. Was it second year, 1.5 years in? I don't know. And back then we didn't even have the internet to know what people were doing. So I could just show up blind if it wasn't in one of the few books that were out back then. But my point is fast forward here 30 years later, and there's still not a lot of competition. I push the TORIs down everybody's throat each year because I know what it did for me and I see what it's done for so many others in standing out and having job seekers go, oh, yeah, an award. I understand the value of that. But believe it or not that many people enter. I think our max year registration, again, remember 50 chances for nomination and 30 chances for win. And I think the most people who've ever entered in a year was 70. So, I mean, the opportunities are ripe on the ground for getting in there and having the chance to stand out when you're working at the top of your game, which again, you should be doing whether you're entering the TORIs or not. And it's not like the price point is prohibitive. $40 is the most it's going to cost you for 1 to 2 categories, and then it goes down from there till you get to 25 dollars each. And then I have a really great opportunity this year for resume mentoring with me that basically makes your TORI entries free. And since those who took advantage of it last year, every single one of them won a TORI, except one who only entered one category. I think it's a pretty darn good opportunity. Anyway, I'll tell you about that in a minute. If you are with me and you've been nominated for or won a TORI in the past, give me a shout out in the chat so we can celebrate you. And since I haven't seen anything in the chat yet, a reminder, give me your name in the chat. So, hi, Rhonda. Your name's actually coming up, so you don't need to type your name. There are, when you go to the TORI page, which I'll put the URL, not that I want anybody to get distracted, but I'll put that at the bottom of the screen. When you go to the TORI page, there are descriptions of each category, and then there are also, what's in the category, and then there are do's and don'ts for what is considered a classic design if you're entering a classic design category. So, I mean, I think you're given guidelines. I've never had anybody ask for more than what we're providing. And that is why we created the descriptions at one point so people could get clear. And that is something I will be talking about in a future show, giving people advice on how to up their chances of getting nominated or winning. All right. Number 2 of 7. Let me know if you have any other questions, Rhonda or anybody else. All right. So number 2, the second way you could win just by entering is you get nominated for a TORI and literally discover that it is better than any advertising you could ever do. That is what I have been told. And I know I mentioned, nominee growth with winners above, and when I was talking about number 1. But we have some amazing nominee success stories. One states, quote, I received more press coverage for the nomination than I have received for virtually any other publicity over the course of my first 11 years in business. Then in 2023, Melissa Kelly of Kelly Resumes and Wordsmithing, she filmed a TORI testimonial video for CDI, which is actually on the TORI information page. And she said, quote, just being nominated last year doubled my business on average. I had to revamp my production and project management processes and bring on a subcontractor. So again, that's just for being nominated, which is just, I mean, that's crazy. 50 chances to be nominated if you enter every category, which I get asked a lot of times about the success I've built and how it's followed me through my career. And I think it's because if you give me 10 opportunities at something, I'm going to take all of them. And as a quick example, and literally that was how I got asked from the first year of the TORIs to be a board member of this organization, was because they saw I entered every category. I ended up with, they had this most points award back then. I ended up with that. And they were like, will you be, a board member? And I ultimately ended up running the TORIs after running PR for a couple of years. But I feel like that sort of thing, the awards, is what has allowed me to, get transition assistant contracts with the US government and with corporations. And it allowed me to stand out and get that contract to be the resume expert for over 50 professional associations back in the day. It's because I had these things that followed me, and it's just the way I approach everything. I can remember, and I'm only telling you this is not to be bragging, but just to say when you go all in, it can help you. I'm still reaping the rewards of things I did 20 years ago because things like being in books and winning awards and getting master certifications, they stand out from the big they s- the big huge pool. It's like what you do for job seekers and helping them stand out when you write them an exceptional resume and teach them how to interview and whatnot. I know we're talking resumes today, but they can only pick one, and just like that, a job seeker can only pick one person to work with. And to increase the chances of it being you, you show up in more places that are exceptional. And that's just, I mean, you'll see an email from me if you're on our list at some point that says, have a Tori date night, because inevitably every year I would pull an all nighter to get this done. There were no excuses to miss this opportunity because I knew what doing some hard work now would pay off later and later, and it does. All right, if you have been nominated for a Tori, just let me know in the chat and we'll celebrate that. And if you've had any specific ROI from a nomination or win, of course, we want to hear that too. All right, third out of 7 reasons you win just by studying the winners. And yes, I totally get you don't have to enter to study the winners because they are there for you to see on the website, on our TORI winners page, which you can always find by going to careerdirectors.com and clicking on job seekers and then winning resumes. That's the easiest path. Or there is a link on the URL I'm showing on the screen right now that will take you there. They're there for you to view, but do you have any skin in the game? It becomes one of those things, and silently raise your hand or let me know in the chat if you can relate to this. That if there's no pressing reason, we often put it off. Oh, I'll review those later. I'm doing fine. I don't have time. I'm chasing the next prospect. I'm writing the next project, and I've got to write so many of them because I can't command over X rate of fee. Whatever the reason, you don't get to it. But when you register, you're kind of like drawing a line in the sand saying, I am going to do this. And that means you're going to increase your opportunity of really studying what works, which even if you choose not to enter any resumes that year, which I think is a mistake because it's a blind competition, no one but our director of certifications and me, if I happen to look, knows who entered. So there's nobody's going to know, but it's an opportunity to challenge yourself to go, what is winning? Let me see. And for so many people, well, not necessarily, but I've heard things like, oh my gosh, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Or Deborah Schuster, I think, has a testimonial on, well, I know she has a testimonial on the CDI site. I don't know if she has one on the TORI page, but she talks about how after 25 years in professional resume writing that, you know, getting involved with CDI and seeing what was possible in marketing job seekers more visually was the thing that reignited her joy at what she does. And now she has gone on to win Tories. But it's just, you're going to win when you're seeing what works because it's going to open your eyes to new ideas. I today still look at what fonts do I need to refresh with, and how can I make this pretty without losing its ATS compatibility. There's always a new thing to learn. And often, if you're like me, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I shouldn't have to do this. But the thing is, once you do it, once you commit to doing something for the better, oh my gosh, I get so reinvigorated and excited, just like Deborah. All right. Rhonda says, I've been putting it off for too long. 2025 is the year. Yes, I love it. Oh, I hope that wasn't too loud in the speaker. Um, and Renzo wants to know, will the classic sales category replace in the classic tech category? Yes, I was explaining that possibly before you came on, that for 2025, we have ditched the classic tech category and added the classic sales category. My feelings are that decision was very much based, as I said, on sales is super challenging to present all those metrics and statistics and accomplishments in a written way. And we often rely heavily on charts and graphs. So I think this is the perfect challenge to see just how we pull that off. And also, the classic high tech category was our least entered. So it was the easy one to nix for 2025. All right, so study those winners, study them, see what you learn, and remember that you can, if you're a CDI member, you can go way past just studying the winners and you can actually learn from the winners, which I think is one of my 7. So I better not say anything more about that yet. All right. If you've gotten ideas in the past from reviewing former winner resumes, let me know in the chat. And I will move on to number 4, which is taking a chance challenges you and keeps you in the game. Well, I think I kind of wrapped that into 3 already, uh, because it's very much that opportunity to, grow. And then, as I think I started to say, let me see here. Just give me 1 second here to see. Okay, good. I can talk about it here. I'm evidently talking ahead of myself, so let me make sure I'm good to go. So we have an entire library of member tutorials. I'm so proud of the fact that so many of the industry's top TORI winners have been willing to share their strategies and their secrets with fellow CDI members. So we have tutorials from Sky Berry. We have tutorials from Jillian Kelly. We have many tutorials from Marie Platt, Donald Burns, Kimberly Robb Baker, Tiffany Hardy. Just great. I mean, if you're a professional resume writer who's been doing this for a while and you're studying the TORIs, you know who I'm talking about. All of these people have generously shared tutorials, and there are so many other great lessons that can help you to up your game from the design to the client, communication process in doing that. So, the TORIs really, 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 really help you to stay fresh and feel like you have that confidence, right? I mean, if you're tracking client successes, you should have that confidence. But what I learned last year in the Critical Industry Analysis Survey, the second annual Critical Industry Analysis Survey, was that most career industry pros aren't tracking. And I think it's just that no news is good news. And so they're not even aware of what their clients are achieving. So you're kind of like sending stuff out into the void and hoping, that nobody comes back and complains. And what does that mean? And when we take the chance, when we put ourselves out there, when we study the winners, man, it comes back to you, keeping you fresh, excited, confident, and knowing you deserve to command higher rates. So again, like I said, the TORIs they were a huge part in catapulting me into my success. And in the last year or so, now keep in mind, I haven't entered the TORIs since 2025. Yes, I wrote Resumes for Dummies. The last edition came out, I think, in 2018. And God, one day they're going to tap me and make me write another one. Um, so much work. Um, my point is, I haven't worked in professional resume writing since 2009. But recently, when I decided to start working with 1 to 2 job seekers a month because I miss that opportunity and I feel like it is um, an accolade that I should have leading CDI to be able to show that, yeah, what I'm doing still works, right? It's still very effective. And I know that I know it does because I help family and I get these, sent one resume, had one interview, one job offer scenarios. But my point is that I was able to look at what I had done by pursuing things like the TORIs and the other competition, the PRW one I mentioned before, and getting resumes and books and publishing books and landing contracts and play all that up to position myself so that I came out of the gate not having sold a resume since 2009 with a 2000 plus price tag that people are willing to pay and be on a waiting list for. And that speaks volumes to me because if I just had my one little certification and hadn't done this since 2009 professionally for pay, I mean, we know I've been training some of the world's best resume writers who work with me one-on-one. So it's not like I'm out of the game. But anyway, my point is that it's things like this that give you that edge. All right, Rhonda says, yeah, all industry leaders in the Tories for sure. They sure are. And that's one of the ways they got known. You probably would be surprised to know how many people, when they enter the Tories, are still at a point in building enter and win the Tories. That are at a point in their business that they're still building and they're willing to subcontract. If I told you the names of the ghostwriters I used to have, all Tory winners, back in the day when I had all those contracts, you would be like, that person subcontracted. If you knew the names today, who I hear subcontract are still subcontracting, get picked up at subcontracting, and then realize, hey, I don't need this anymore because now I can command what I was hoping to command and be seen as a leader. It's the thing that puts them on the map. One of the things. I'm not going to say it's the only thing, but it's definitely an easy way to get on there. So I feel like I'm over talking to the point where my 5, 6, and 7 might not have as much unique content, but let's move on. So number 5 is being motivated to go to the next level charges you up. And yes, so I've kind of said this in many different ways already. So maybe I only have like 4 items today, right? But the reality is, and let me know in the chat if you would agree that when you commit to something, it's a high. It's really exciting. And like I said a few moments ago, it gives you that feeling of like, I can do anything and I'm excited and you don't want to necessarily learn, but then you do and you're like, why did I wait so long to do this? And that's positive inertia. It's so easy in our practices to just get so busy that we kind of end up on the wheel of chase the prospects, land the sale, do the projects. We're burning the midnight oil. It's overwhelming and the cycle never ends. And I know, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't write resumes for so long professionally with job seekers is because I got burnt out. And when we allow ourselves breaks in our processes, we give ourselves that opportunity to stay fresh and stay excited and be like Deborah, who 25 years in reignited her joy. Her words, not mine. Okay, number 6. So solving puzzles builds brain muscles, and that totally pays off in the Tories. So I feel like there's no bigger puzzle than resumes, and you're already doing it every day, right? You're taking each of these clients that you work with and you're treating them hopefully as the ultimate puzzle. Like I love it. I've always described it as, pick up each individual piece and examine it. And I had to learn that um, from working with clients in the beginning to realize that things that I was ready to ignore and just leave off to the side, often making myself pick up that piece and ask about it, literally became pivotal turning points in the content I created for them and how I presented their resumes. So, the good news is we have the classic Tories. So you maybe don't need to build quite the brain muscles in doing those as you would have to do in the high design. But then I kind of disagree because if you look at the classic Tories, it takes extra work and effort to make something visually distinctive without using design, major design elements. You have to work actually harder in many cases. So, we're building these puzzles and we're asking ourselves to break a cycle and get even better at it, which is going to be a win-win for our lovely brain mass and our chance to nail it in the Tories. All right. And then number 7, which I have said this already, but I'd always like to close with it when I'm talking about ways that you win: multiple winners and nominees. Again, 10 categories, 50 chances to be nominated, 30 winners with first, second, and third place in each category. And on average, about 50 to 55 people entering each year, which is just staggering that you think, wow, we have as many people enter as we have nominations. The thing is that a person might enter more than one category. And I'll be talking more about this in a future show, you up your chances by entering more categories because you just never know which ones are going to be popular. So what I'm going to do now, I see that look I gave you. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat now. We're not going anywhere yet, but I want to share my screen. I know there can be a slight delay here in what you see versus what I see, so I might be talking ahead of what you can see. I can see it on my end. Let me get rid of this banner really quickly, so that's not blocking the page. All right, so this is the TORI page. I got here by going from programs to awards, to the TORIs. This is the page where you'll find out all the information um, on the TORIs up to the point of registering. So we have examples of classic resumes and do's and don'ts for classics. We have testimonials, the link to the winning resume page, a whole bunch of very valuable information, and a brief recap, tongue-tied today, recap of those 7 items. But I just wanted to show you, each week I'll show a couple testimonials. So let's just jump on here for a second and point out a few. So, Eve Ruth, everybody knows Eve. Eve is pretty private, so none of us have ever actually seen Eve. And she just, I think, made one of her first posts on LinkedIn recently. But anyway, she has had tremendous success with the TORIs and is a repeat entrant, which is something that can really pay off in entering. So, what does she say here? Received an unprecedented 15 inquiries in 5 weeks just from the TORIs. Let's see. Sarana, she managed to land a massive contract. I think there's a typo here because that shouldn't say 134 employees. It's a really, really big number. So I'll have to go look and see what that is and fix it. I know we have the testimonial on the CDI the Certified Resume Specialist page. All right, Jay, won my 7th award, unreal, have changed my business and my life, and words can't express how thankful I am. Amy Adler, the TORIs was a game changer for my business. Almost immediately, I had more engaged clients from the market that I am continually seeking to attract. And so perfect. These are just a few examples. There are more here that you can view, video testimonials, more written testimonials. But again, like I said, I just wanted to touch on a few and show them to you. So let me go back over here. All right, because I'm trying to keep these shows shorter. I tend to go really, really long. So, if we were in a workshop or one of CDI's webinar style events that you may have come to as a member, right now I would be running us through an exercise to think about how your life could be different a year from now if you were to take the time to enter in 2025. Whether you just learn from the experience or you get nominated or have a win. So that's really something I want to encourage you to do. Get really clear on the potential ROI of making time for this. And I mean potential. There is ROI just by upping your game, even if you don't win, even if you don't get nominated, because you are one step closer to a win, but you've also just improved your skill sets. So please remember you've got to plan for it. You've got to set time aside for it. If you're incredibly busy, like most of us are, um, you've got to put it on your schedule and don't wait until the last minute because that is the thing that often holds us all back. You end up with the flu or COVID or some family emergency, and you're not able to pull that final all nighter you were planning for. So, if you're taking actions now, you literally have until Wednesday, July 16th to register for at least one category. And then you have until Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern to get all those entries in. So we're still April, May, June, July. We are more than 3 months away from the deadline. Oops, wrong caption. I was trying to put the TORI. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Question in the chat. Do you have to have a resume writing certification to enter? No, you don't have to have a resume writing certification to enter. You don't have to have been doing this for multiple years to be able to enter. But yes, you do have to be a member to enter the TORI Awards. And I just shared the deadline, I think, while you were typing that. So hopefully that helps. Now, July is going to be here before you know it with that deadline to get one registered. You get one registered, you can at least get access to, the rules and get started. The rules aren't anything scary. They're like fictionalize, 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 fictionalize. Sorry, I don't know what is happening over here. So take the time, study the winners, watch the tutorials, polish that skill set. And if you want to be able to do that even more, I want to let you know about a bonus. Now, I introduced this last year with CDI, and we're going to do it again this year. If you purchase all 10 categories of the 2025 TORI Awards, which we're talking about, that gets it down to $25 a category, which means it's $250 for all 10 categories. So if you register for all 10 no later than Thursday, May 15th, you are going to get access to an exclusive Zoom resume writing coaching session with me. So I think most of you know me, multi-award winning resume writer, author of Resumes for Dummies, creator of the CDI Resume Writing Master Mentor Program, almost all of the CDI resume writing certifications, resume writing roadmap. I've helped some of the world's best resume writers earn their certifications and awards. So it's very simple. You purchase all 10. Not only do you get all 10 of the categories for the $250, but you get this, which I think I said it's like a $499 value. You have the opportunity to submit a resume by the deadline I provide, and come to this live session. It'll be anonymous. No one will know it's your resume, but I will give feedback on it and strategies. And last year, those who had been playing the nomination game and not getting to the win made it to the win. As I said earlier, all but one person won a TORI. Now, some who attended were smart; they were already TORI winners, so they were just making sure they were up on the newest and the best and the brightest. But it is an opportunity to get direct feedback from me, coaching, suggestions, and strategies to strengthen your resume writing and design. So you can see that information right on the TORI page link that I have on the screen. Just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see it, and it's automatic when you purchase 10 by the deadline. All right, so that is our topic for today. We are going to go live again I'm going to do this every 2 weeks for right now. So I've got us at Wednesday, May 7th at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to be sharing tips for TORI preparation and planning. And again, 3:45 p.m. Eastern, streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. In the meantime, visit the CDI website. Let me throw one last thing on the screen here. So many moving pieces. Nope, that's not even the right thing. Yay me. How many descriptive things do I have here? All right. If you are not a CDI member, you can go check out Free Stuff page as a place to start. It does lead to several TORI Q&A lessons that we have out there, along with a number of other great resources. Come check it out, see what it's all about. And if you're a member, um, get in there and start taking advantage of those TORI resources. So until May 7th, I hope I will see you around CDI, and I look to see you winning with the TORIs in 2025. Thank you as well, Rhonda, and thanks to everybody else who joined us today. All right, please fly higher.